First Lady Jill Biden is spending Mother's Day weekend in Eastern Europe. The First Lady met with school children in Romania on Saturday. She will meet with Ukrainian refugees on Sunday as part of her show of support. For more, I'd like to bring in CBS News political contributor and Washington Post White House reporter Sean Sullivan. Sean, it's great to see you. What are some of the highlights from the First Lady's trip so far?
Well, Meg, the First Lady is in the midst of a 4-day trip right now to Romania and Slovakia. These are two countries that border Ukraine. These are two NATO allies of the United States. And what we saw yesterday was that the First Lady, Dr. Biden, visited an air base where she met with NATO and U.S. military personnel. She helped serve food. She helped deliver supplies. This was very much a morale building trip. Today, the First Lady is in Romania and Bucharest, the capital, where she visited a school and she talked to Ukrainian mothers and children. And so, you know, there's a big focus on this trip on the part of the First Lady on meeting with refugees who have been affected and displaced by Ukraine's war with Russia. And then tomorrow, of course, is Mother's Day. She's going to be participating, according to the White House, in Mother's Day activities. She's going to be visiting a refugee center in Slovakia. She's actually going to visit a border crossing there as well, according to the White House. So a busy trip for the First Lady, which wraps up on Monday when she's supposed to meet with the president of Slovakia at the end of this trip.
Yeah, busy weekend indeed. What is she trying to accomplish and take away from this trip?
Well, I think there's a couple of things here. One is that the Biden administration seems intent on continuing to show support for Ukraine in a public way and for its NATO allies in a public way. And so we've seen President Biden has gone to the region, has been in Eastern Europe. We've seen Secretary of State Tony Blinken travel to the region. Now we see the First Lady travel to the region. So I think part of this is the Biden administration, you know, sending high-profile individuals and trying to convey, hey, look, we're with you. We are taking this very seriously. We're watching this very closely. And I think there's also a personal side of this trip, too. Of course, it's no coincidence that this is Mother's Day weekend. Dr. Biden is a mother. She's a teacher. She's visiting schools. She's talking with mothers. And so I think, you know, the White House and this administration is trying to convey a certain degree of empathy as well and saying, like, look, here, you know, is how we're watching the situation. It's not just from a tactical perspective, but we're trying to address this crisis from a humanitarian perspective as well, and from a position of empathy. You know, there are a lot of questions, though, about where this humanitarian crisis would go. And in fact, Dr. Biden was asked about this today, and she expressed some degree of uncertainty. So it remains to be seen how the United States government is going to, in the long term, address this and you know, what their capacity will be to be able to address this crisis. But I think for right now, they're trying to send a signal that, hey, you know, we're there for you. The United States government is there for you, and we're sending high-profile people to show that they're there for you.
Speaking of high-profile people, do you expect to see President Biden making a trip?
Well, you know, the president was recently in the region, of course, and he visited, you know, not too long after the Russian invasion of Ukraine began. I think there's certainly a lot of uncertainty about the months ahead. Where will we see President Biden go? When will he be going there? You know, we haven't seen any imminent announcements from the White House or this administration that he's going to head back or make any specific trip anytime soon. But I think there is, you know, an expectation from some NATO allies and from perhaps even people in Ukraine who wonder, you know, when will we see the president again? Where will we see him again? You know, he is the highest profile member, of course, of the United States government. And so where he goes, what he says matters. I think a lot of people around the globe are watching, you know, where and when he'll show up.
Absolutely. Sean Sullivan, thank you so much.